So, we are going to talk about something that I don't talk about a whole lot, but there is a time and a place for it. Today, we're going to talk about maybe it's time to give up. Today on the Productive Not Busy podcast.
You're listening to the Productive Not Busy podcast, where we show you how to do life and business confident, focused, and with a plan so that you can make more money, have more free time, and less stress. Your host, Wayne Withersby, will uncover actionable hacks, strategies, tips, and insights you can use today to live a better, more productive life. It's time to boost your mindset, confidence, and your attitude. Here's your host, Coach Wayne.
That's right. Maybe it's time to give up. So I wrote a piece on this. Our culture encourages a never give up attitude, right? And that might be a good philosophy to live by a majority of the time. But there does come a time when it makes sense to throw in the towel. No one wants to be a quitter, right? I freaking hate quitters. But quitting is actually the smartest choice in some circumstances. So is it time to give up? Well, let's talk about it. Let's find out. See, quitting may be the right choice for you if your circumstances are this. Number one, the outcome you wanted no longer appeals to you. Maybe you always wanted to be a pilot or a cowboy or become a classical piano player or a marathon runner. But your interests change. If something truly no longer appeals to you, it's a freaking waste of time for you to keep pursuing it. Most people do that because they're worried about what other people are going to think. But it's the outcome that no longer excites you before you quit, though. Perhaps it's just the work ahead that's unappealing. That's a whole different issue. People do things, set goals, set their sights on a new project based on what they're willing to do, not what they're capable of doing. So always make sure the outcome no longer excites you before you quit. If you're still excited about it, but just not happy with how hard the work is to get there, that's a whole different subject, and I can help you with that. The required sacrifice is no longer worth it. Okay, so accomplishing anything significant requires a sacrifice, right? In the case of a physical endeavor, that sacrifice might be physical discomfort, injury, or just time. Other goals might be financial sacrifices. Regardless of the goal, there's going to be a sacrifice. You might discover that the sacrifice is a little greater than you anticipated, or that your priorities have changed, right? Life isn't a static event. Everything is constantly changing. There's constants and there's variables every day. Next, you might have found something better. Suppose you were fascinated by playing the violin or something. I don't know. So you bought a violin and you started taking lessons. Along the way, you discovered maybe a different instrument and all of its glory. It's reasonable to quit the violin to pursue the guitar instead. That's okay. Sometimes our initial interests lead us to things that we really love, right? A lot of people recommend that as a strategy for finding your true self is to just start something. They suggest giving all of your interest a fair shot and then see what happens as a result. You may find something in there that you really love. Next, you're overly concerned with what other people think. I mentioned that earlier. Are you pursuing a college degree or maybe going to the gym and trying to get abs or go have a second job trying to buy a BMW because you want to impress other people, which is ridiculous. This is hardly satisfying, I promise. You'd be wise to quit that immediately and find something else to do with your time that will satisfy you directly. No one is ever going to give you enough praise to make your efforts worth the while, I promise. Next, it's taking too much time or other resources from a more significant goal. That's a big one that I see. Some of your interests might be impeding your progress towards more significant goals. You only have a certain number of hours each day, so spreading yourself too thin ensures that you will never accomplish anything significant. Casual interests often have to be set aside to support the bigger picture. Next, your capabilities have changed. That's a big one. Maybe you had a shot at winning the New York City Marathon at one time in the past, but injuries, family issues, age, or other discovered limitations can become hurdles too big to overcome sometimes, and that's okay. Or those hurdles can make the necessary sacrifices too big to be worth the effort. As your situation change, your objectives might have to change too. Some goals become too costly in terms of resources just to continue to pursue them. A lifetime doesn't last forever. There's only so much time, so much money, and other resources available to pursue the goal. So your interest can also change. That's okay. What was once appealing can lose its luster over time. That happens with people. Maybe you've just found something better to spend your time on. Or perhaps your capabilities or your life situation changed. Who knows? These are all good reasons to consider quitting. There's no shame in calling it quits when it's the smartest option available to you. So there is an option to quit. It's not always a bad one. I hope you have a great day. Be safe, take care, sell a bunch, and say something nice to somebody.
You've been listening to the Productive, Not Busy podcast. Please hit the subscribe and notification of new episodes button and visit us on social media like Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok for bonus content.